trying to find companies that maybe are still under pressure and those maybe turning around. Obviously, there's a lot of debate about them right now. So let's continue talking some macro. We got Alan Nuckman, who's joining me to walk through some of the big market moves. Alan, this equity market just can't find a strong bid to last more than a couple hours, even with this enormous Fed backstop. At what point do bulls just start selling every rally?
Wow. I mean, I'm under that same impression as well, that no matter what they throw at the market, it's just not sticking. And we're talking about not helicopter money. We're talking about back up the dump truck money. I mean, this is some serious money with no end in sight, and the market doesn't like it. So that's in itself is interesting, is something to keep track of. But there are opportunities. I mean, there were stocks that did have healthy bounces last week. Uber was up 30% in one day. We had Work up 25% in one day. So there are pockets of stocks that got beaten down a little bit too far that you can take advantage of to bounce back.
What are you looking at right now, Alan? Are you looking at the worst stuff? Friday, we got a little bit of buying action in some of the cruise lines. This morning, I see Wynn Resorts up 10%. Some of the stuff that's been leading the way down is starting to get at least a little bit of back and forth instead of just going, straight down the escalator.
Yeah, but I think those are more because of the potential stimulus effects and how they're going to save it, who's going to save it. And so that's more like insider information. Somebody thinks they know something about how these guys are going to get bailed out, and that's essentially what those plays are all about. I'm not a big fan of trying to figure that out, the airlines or the cruise lines at this point. I think there are still some energy stocks. We've seen a little bit of a basing out in crude oil finally, and it's bouncing around. So I think some of these energy stocks that have gone absolutely completely straight down this month, I think they offer some value.
Okay. Any in particular, Alan, and how do you want to do it? How do you go about a trade? I mean, this group is like even worse than those in the consumer travel. Energy is just the bottom of the barrel. So you're searching deep here, Alan.
At some point, there will be a short squeeze or a covering. Now, it may not be sustained, but at some point, these people that have been short are going to take some profits. What I'm looking at is Royal Dutch Shell, which is RDS.A. It's down 60% in 2020. It had dropped from 60 down to 20, and here recently it dropped in April from 40 down to 20. So 30 is a midpoint, and then there's a gap above 40. So what I'm looking at is the same strategy that I talk about every time I come on with you. It's an in-the-money call that's going to act like the stock. I have limited risk. I've got time. I've got a high delta. So I'm looking at a July 22.5 call, which is just above that extreme low, and it's trading for about 6 or so. And right now, if we're at 26.50, I guess it's about $4 in the money. So the break even is $2 higher. But more importantly, it's got 4 full months of time. So if something doesn't happen in the next month or two, the time value decay is going to be very minimal. And the difference between buying the July option versus buying the April or May option is astronomical when it comes to time, because time is our one ally, and things can change in the next coming weeks and months, obviously.
Okay, so right now you like finding a little bit longer dated expiries, give the stocks time to turn around. All right, makes sense, Alan. We got to run.
And let me throw some fundamental. I got a fundamental.
Yeah.
The PE is 5. The PE is 5, and the PE on Exxon's 10. All right, just thought I'd throw that out.
All right. All right, I like it. Alan Nuckman dabbling in evaluations. Always like it. Appreciate it, Mr. K, joining us from Agora Financial. We'll be right back to talk more about the Fed. Danielle DiMartino Booth is the author of Fed Up. She's been on the show many times talking about the risks and possible rewards for